wo einfach irgendwie jetzt nicht alle Menschen daran teilnehmen können, sondern es ging darum, eine offene Plattform zu schaffen, wo Geflüchtete ihre Bilder hochladen können. Auch diejenigen, die ja sozusagen nicht am Workshop teilgenommen haben.
Warum ist das wichtig? Also einerseits ist es eine Ausstellung packen, eine Ausstellung draus machen, ist das eine, aber warum ist es ausgerechnet für Refugees wichtig, so eine Plattform zu haben, wo die Bilder, Meinungen und Erfahrungen hochladen können, veröffentlichen können?
Ja, das große Problem, wie man ja auch irgendwie in den Medien irgendwie sieht, ist, dass immer nur Bilder von Camps gezeigt werden, von den Zäunen, aber die Refugees einfach nicht zu Wort kommen und ihre Erfahrungen und das, was sie erlebt haben, nicht zeigen können.
Und wie funktioniert das jetzt, diese Seite, dieses Tool, was ihr da entwickelt habt?
Also im Grunde ist es relativ einfach. Es gibt eine Karte, wo Refugees Bilder hochladen können, wie ihre Eindrücke dann zeigen können und Texte dann dazu schreiben können. So, hier jetzt irgendwie relativ Neues von Montag, glaube ich. Und genau, einfach hochladen, Text schreiben, fertig.
Also funktioniert es ein bisschen wie so ältere Plattformen wie Indymedia oder so, aber eben verknüpft mit so einem Mapping-Tool, wie man es von OpenStreetMaps kennt, oder?
Genau,
ja?
genau.
Okay. Ist das ein offenes Projekt? Kann man da einfach mitmachen?
Ja, also wer möchte, Helfer sind immer willkommen, egal was ihr macht, ob ihr irgendwie beispielsweise irgendwie programmiert oder auch, wenn ihr irgendwie Fotografen seid und irgendwie Bock habt, wie mitzukommen und Workshop zu geben, auch immer herzlich willkommen.
Mich würde noch interessieren, auf welcher technischen Basis funktioniert denn diese Seite? Wie ist das programmiert?
Ganz klassisch in PHP und JavaScript. Und genau, ich habe dann da, weil es mein Liebling ist, Laravel benutzt als Framework. Genau.
Wie viele Leute haben mitgewirkt jetzt an diesem Tool?
Genau, also in dem Tool haben jetzt insgesamt als Programmierer 2 mitgemacht. Also ich natürlich und noch ein Programmierer aus Ägypten, Youssef, der heute, ich glaube, dann wie nachher noch kommt. Genau. Da waren wir leider nur zu zweit. Hat aber trotzdem Spaß gemacht.
Und bei Syria on the Move, wie viele Leute machen insgesamt mit?
Circa 20.
Gesetzt den Fall, ich bin jetzt nicht der krasse Crack, der so krass programmieren kann. Welche Möglichkeiten habe ich in Syria on the Move zu unterstützen oder mich da einzubringen?
Genau, also was wir halt immer gerne sehen, ist Spread the Word. Teilt es irgendwie auf Facebook, wherever. Genau, also wir haben noch bis 9. Mai, glaube ich, ne?
Bis 9. Mai.
Bis 9. Mai noch eine Crowdfunding-Kampagne am Start, wo wir dringend Geld brauchen, weil wir in den Libanon wollen und dort einen Fotoworkshop geben wollen.
Das war auf startnext.com/Syria-on-the-move. Nee, dann kommt kein Punkt mehr. Also Syria on the Move einfach bei Startnext eingeben und dann landet man da. Eigentlich, was gibt es noch Wichtiges zu sagen?
Wüsste nix. Du?
Das war's eigentlich.
Ja, genau.
Also ich würde sagen, wir sind durch und danken OpenTechSummit dafür, dass Sie es möglich gemacht haben.
Ja, wir danken euch.
Ja.
Super Vortrag.
Ja, Dankeschön.
Ihr seid auch unten vertreten?
Ja, oben nachher.
Euch findet man hier irgendwo.
Irgendwo.
Irgendwo, genau.
Dankeschön. Ja, die nächsten Redner. Ulrike Thalheim und Moritz Beber. Ihr braucht den Rechner.
Kannst du mal unten den Strom rausziehen, bitte? Ja, Strom. Das ist irgendwie lustig.
Hier liegen einige Info. Before we start the presentation, I just have a quick question. Who of you does not understand German? Okay, so I would have a talk in English then. Perfect.
Sorry. Ist alles, der
It's the
bootet noch.
perfect time
Ach so.
to sing the Jeopardy level.
Könnt ihr einen Namen tanzen?
Wrong school.
Wie gesagt, nach Möglichkeit eigentlich
Jetzt
immer den Digitaleingang nehmen. Ja.
Da.
Hier bei dem funktioniert das.
Hast du den USB-Stick gerade?
Ja, ich hätte auch den USB-Stick, wenn du
Hast du
möchtest. Soll ich?
Ja, das
Da sind 2 Ordner drauf. Vorträge. Und die Version 2G Rechte. Okay. So, jetzt nur noch raufkriegen. Ja. Wir sollten noch den Ausgang. Sorry, ich dachte, der wäre von vornherein. Stelle der da aufgrund der Cloud-Sache.
der ist nur abgestürzt vorhin, weil
Ach so,
der
okay.
hat da Probleme gemacht.
Ah, thank you.
Herz.
Perfect. Now just view. And presentation.
Okay, das sieht gut aus.
So, thank you for your patience.
Yes.
I'm Ulrike, this is Moritz. Together we are doing the project MetaCollect. MetaCollect is an open data service for refugee and integration projects. Basically what we're doing is trying to collect and to show the project landscape for refugees, for newcomers and for integration projects in Germany. Maybe we should start on our motivation and what got us into this project. In 2015, there was an emerging, or many more refugees came into Germany than into the prior years, although the situation was already known. And around this, a very flattering landscape of projects came up. Many people got involved in helping newcomers, working directly at refugee shelters and so on. And what also started was trying to cope with the situation on a technical basis. So the first apps came on, many websites got built, and so what we see here, there was a big landscape of projects, which was great, but nobody really could make sense of it, and nobody really talked to each other. And in October 2015, there was a refugee hackathon. Maybe some of you know it, some of you might have even been involved in it. And at this refugee hackathon, many started to talk to each other and found out, we're kind of working on the same solution, on the same issue, but we're building 2 different apps. Maybe we should combine our efforts, but would have been great to know of each other beforehand. So the idea of a project database came up when this started all over again, because when researching on these databases, people found out, there are already databases, but they don't know of each other. So MetaCollect is trying to solve this since November 2015. We're trying to collect as many data as possible on refugee projects and build up a database on it to keep the data up to date, because that's a huge issue. Many of these current databases don't have up-to-date data, as it is really hard to update all the data from the projects themselves. And we offer an API, or we would like to offer an API, so that all these different project overviews can take out we update the data and make sure that they can present what they need to do on an up-to-date data base. Yes, we're already online, but we're still building on it. And this is our website. Go visit. Go find out. It's an alpha version, so feedback is always appreciated. And we have lots of partners. And Moritz will tell you a bit about them and when we're almost finished.
We just quickly wanted to say thank you here to these people who have helped us along the way, especially USeeds, who is a user experience and UI agency and who've done a workshop for and with us, and the Migration Hub, who are now opening again their co-working space for any refugee project who needs a space and meet other people. And then, of course, Code for Germany, where we meet every Monday in the lab, and also INI 20 or 2.0, a seminar at the TU Berlin, who helped us along the way. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Just two thanks. Just two more comments. First of all, it's open. It's an open data project. And second of all, we have a workshop which is basically just come and talk to us at 3 p.m. Down in the yard. And there you have our email. Thanks for your attention.
Yes.
So because of the time.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Hồng Phúc. I'm come from Vietnam. And I would do a very quick about like open source in Asia. So I first know about open source in 2007, and the organizer of this event, Mario Belling, he first came to Vietnam, and that was the first time that open source was introduced in our country. So the European Union come with a bunch of project and idea, saying that okay, so we need to bring the community in Europe together with Asian community. So they got a few like open source company come the first time to Hanoi and do presentation and try to find partners in Vietnam. So at that time it was my very first time learning about open source and about all these computer things. And I got really into the community, how people sharing their idea and freely working together across border. And I can feel that okay, so with open source, it's not only about the work, but it also have the country like ours, like the developing country. And with open source, it also creates opportunity for a lot of people about open knowledge, about open education, a lot of things that is not available in certain countries like Vietnam. And after that, in 2009, we started an organization called Force Asia. So the website Force Asia, also what is the idea of Force Asia? Force Asia is the network of people. What we try to do is we try to bring open source community around Asia together to develop projects and to contribute to existing open source projects around the world. So at Force Asia, we do 3 main activities throughout the year. So we have training education. So we connect with a lot of mentors all over the world, and we also work together with Google in Google Summer of Code. So we have different programs that we recruit students inside Asia to contribute to existing open source project. And recently, we also launched our new project for students, but younger students in secondary school and high school. We call it Code In. So for Asia Code In, so the idea is a lot of mentors from all over the world. We work online together with students from secondary school or high school from developing countries. So where internet is very limited. So all these students will get together to solve a very simple task. For instance, okay, so how to install a Linux distribution on your laptop. But then they got a chance to speak English and to learn together with a mentor, oversee everything online. That is the education, and the second thing that we are doing is event. So we believe that we only bring an outcome when people really come together, meet together, not only online. So we try to make meetups all over the year and everywhere around the world. And we also have one global Force Asia event happen every year. And nowadays our base is in Singapore. So last year we had an event in March in Singapore. More than 3,000 people were there. And we also connected with a lot of community throughout Asia. In Singapore, we have our partner from the Hackerspace. So we also do a lot of training. So we do a lot of meetup, and we also have a partnership in Shanghai, in Dubai, wherever you go in China, Thailand, Indonesia, India. So in every city, we have a group of Force Asia network. So whenever you guys from the West come to Asia and say, okay, let's say want to see what's going on in Asia, want to connect with the local open source community, you can just go to our website and find out the network around the world. And that is education, event and meeting. And we also develop our own idea and project open source. So if you look on the lab, so there are a few projects of Force Asia developed by the local developers that also got presented here. So we have Lock is also one of the project under Force Asia, and we also support like fashion tech. Yes, understand. Okay, so this is my contact, and if you want to, whenever you visit Asia and you want to get connect with the local community, please write to us or subscribe to the Force Asia mailing list. And I also have my colleague here from Singapore, Justin Lee, who will be giving a talk later on, and will be around until the end of the week. Thank you very much.
Sie hat nichts.
Nee.
Ah, super.
Einfach auslassen. Kann es ausmachen? Good.
Also without any presentation.
Yeah.
Just
Hello.
Hello.
Our talk is in praise of workarounds, and we want to talk about the virtues and problems of workarounds, and to make that understandable, we brought a little example. Okay. Yeah. So without any further ado, our talk in praise of workarounds, and Lisa will give us an example for a workaround which we will use throughout the talk.
Yeah, a friend told me about a woman, an elderly woman working in a Berlin administration, and it suddenly turned out, or eventually turned out, that she was using on her computer one single Word document for everything. Like she saved everything she did in one single Word document. Because obviously she just didn't catch up on the way you save single Word documents, and she somehow managed to work very well in that workaround. Like for her it was easy, it was very practical, and it didn't, nobody recognized that she was working in just one Word document, like that she had
this role, sort of. Yeah, it worked fine. And then suddenly they realized this is a huge workaround that this woman was pursuing.
Yeah, and we want to highlight some aspects that sort of connect her workaround to, for example, hacker culture and sort of everyday hacking. And I think sort of if one sort of thinks back what this person was confronted with was probably that somewhere in the 90s, like her boss put a computer on a table and said, okay, like world is going digital and that's how you work now. And so she needed to cope with that situation in some way, and yeah, needed to find a creative solution.
And I think also this situation, you are confronted with a new tool, a new technology. We can realize that this tool doesn't do anything by itself. It doesn't do anything without being activated by the user and without being translated into the context of use. That's what we see, I think, in this example.
So that woman needed to use her existing knowledge or sort of interpretation she could use from that existing knowledge. And it's sort of very common at, for example, in educational theory that you say, okay, you can't do big jumps, so you need to work in incremental steps and sort of make the new stuff sort of your own by understanding it and working with that. It's like weaving something. You have the material and you need to weave something out of it yourself.
Yeah, so we have this slow, incremental kind of learning, which is not evitable. And then after this, maybe some phases of intense learning, like this intense incremental learning, there's also some kind of laziness setting in, we believe. Like the learning process stops as soon as there is a solution to the problem. Then we have some kind of stabilization. You just learn so much that you can deal with your everyday problems, and then it's kind of okay. Then you stick with that solution.
Yeah, so, and I think that connects it a bit to hacker culture and the ideas she had with that. Because one could say, okay, she's just using that wrong and she didn't understand operating systems or Word or whatever. But actually, if one looks at that, she could cope fairly well with her own inventions of use. And as well, one could look at it from the point of view what she enabled, what other people with her sort of more common use of Word wouldn't have. And so she had some pretty interesting, one could say, inventions made by her interpretation of using Word.
Yeah, for example, it's a kind of stream that we now have, for example, in our Facebook interface. This Word document is actually like this kind of stream, and whatever is right now is on top. Yeah, whatever is actual is on top, and it's not an abstract way of dealing with your files, but sort of like a diary. And so the organization of work, maybe, and the way of thinking about your work is always chronological, in a sort of chronological narrative. You can always ask what came before, what came after, then you find your file. And that's maybe not so bad a way of organizing your stuff. Maybe also full text search. We don't know for sure if this happened.
We don't know if she used it, but she could just press Control F and have sort of access to her whole text she ever written.
Yeah. So we think this is not a story of failure, not at all. It's, first of all, a very standard story. We all do this when we engage with new technologies, and we have to engage with new technology very often, and this is how we do it. So we are all this kind of pursuing this kind of everyday hacking.
Okay, then you may say, okay, that's like all self-made, but actually sort of as an interesting note, the inventor of the Macintosh, Jeff Raskin, invented a writing system called Canon Cat, and that actually works fairly similar as this woman used Word. But in this case, this invention was sort of an industrialized thing, and nobody would think of it now as a workaround, because you can go into the shop and buy it in a box.
Thank you very much.
So what's that?
Or do you think would be better in PDF or in PDF?
Yeah,
Okay.
PDF, isn't
I
it?
have it. I have it in. Yeah, that's fine.
This one?
Yep.
No.
Why it goes on tag? Is it the right one? Because I uploaded on the file from our cloud.
This one?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Hello, everybody. My name is Yves Pierre, but people call me Ivers. I'm originally from Haiti. I've been here in Berlin, Germany for 7 years. I'm actually the CEO and founder of Perpetua Label, which is a fashion tech company. But I'm here to talk about something else, which is about how you can raise money without any VC. But first, before I start with talking about the topic, I would like to know how many of you here who already have a startup or trying to build a business, having an idea you want to do? Quite interesting. And how many of you here who are investors or venture capitalists? Okay, there is one in here. I hope that you're comfortable with the topic. Okay, yeah. So basically, you probably know that you'll be thinking about how you can get money to start your business, and where you're going to find it, and focus on getting the money from investors. But I'm just here to tell you that there are plenty of ways that you already know you can use the money, to raise the money, but you just don't realize it. And this is just the common thing that you do, which I'm doing right now in my company, and which is working pretty well so far. So before we go to it, we'd like to define what is it exactly, the VC, the venture capital, and tell you the advantage of it when you get that money from those investors, and what are the disadvantages of it as well, and giving you the 5 different models that you can use if you want to build a business to raise money without that capital. So VC stands for venture capital, and according to Investopedia, it's defined as the money that is provided by the investors for startup or any, let's say, idea you may have to build as a feature, or and if you have already a startup and a small business that you want to grow. So basically, this is what it stands for. But we know that once you get the money from the venture capitalists, there are some good benefits of it, of course, which will help you a lot to get your business on the right flow. But there are also some disadvantage. And those of the advantage, first you get is you get easy access to the capital. So once you manage to convince the venture capitalists, you get the money that you want, and you're very confident that you're going to launch the business. So it's easy for you to start working on everything that you want to do and to get the business up and running. And one of the things that you also get from them is, I would say, is like most of the venture capitalists, they also work as a mentor. So because of your lack of experience, they are always there to help you, to support you, giving you advices on how to get the business up and running, and also follow your business plan, your strategy that you convince them before to get the money from them. So that way you don't change your mind. They're always there to support. And also, of course, it helps you to grow the business a lot faster, because you have the capital, and you can get the people that you want in your team, and just to make sure that you can get the product or the service out there. And also, one of the things they support you is because you may not have experience in human resources recruitment. Wait 2 minutes. Okay, so we have very short time about it. So, well, they help you also with HR, and also they spread the words all over across to make sure that you can have the product done. And the disadvantage that you have, for instance, you have to give up to, sometimes even up to 80% of your business. And so that way you can get an agreement with them. So what happens is you lose the control of the business, and also sometimes because they own most part of the business, there are a lot of internal problems between them because they want you to go in their way. So you lose completely the business. And also, one thing they do, even if you need the money to work on, they don't give you the loads of money that you wanted, 50,000, 100,000. They will start giving you part of the money until step by step until you get the full funds. But most of the time, basically, it's very hard to get the full amount straight away. And so also, they do not usually like when you ask them to sign up a non-disclosure agreement. Most of them they refuse to do it. Because sometimes if they don't want to support the business, they will just steal the idea. They have the capital already, and then they just go and do it somewhere else. And when what happened, you're done completely. You don't have business anymore. So there are 5 different types of the business that we wanted to discuss about is the matchmaker product. The matchmaker model, for instance, is when you don't own a product yourself, but you're an intermediate, and basically between the consumer and the producer or the manufacturer. If you take an example of Airbnb or Lieferheld, they don't have any kind of product, rooms or restaurant, but they just play between both parties, and this is how they get the money, and then they get their own business. So they don't have the restaurants like Lieferheld. They don't have any product, but they provide the service to the customers. And the second one is the paid in advance model. Basically, this is when you make a product, you don't have much money, you make one prototype, and then you try to convince people and companies to get the product from you. So basically, this is where you're going to need a website, you need friends to support, and go out there and then try to sell something that you don't really have in stock, but you have only one product, and you convince them basically to pay you in advance, so that way you can do the production and get it out there. And if we take an example with Dell, this is exactly what they did. They started with one computer, and then they went to retailers, to companies, and showed them the computer. And then they'll say, you can give me like 25 to 40% of the money to start, and then I will give you the productions, the full computers, and you pay the rest of the money after. So this is how they start the business. And the third one would be the subscription model. It's a running contract, basically, where you have a product, but you make a subscription either every month or every year to make sure you can get income, so you can build the product and build the company. So people that have that sign up for it every time, and then they can pay the money in advance, and then you get that money, so you can grow the business. And then the fourth one is the scarcity model, which is actually one of the most popular right now, especially in the fashion industry and the online platforms. This is where basically they do not really own the product itself, but what they do is they run some special offers for a very short time. They restrict the time and the limit of the product. So that way they can convince the people to get it. So what they do, they get the product from the manufacturer, and then they sell it like with some special price offers and get this money, and then they pay the manufacturers from 30 to 60 days. So you still have a lot of capital in your hands and your bank account to grow the business. And the last one is the bootstraps, which basically you can deal with either incubators or crowdfundings to raise the money with your network. And well, that's it. Time is running. So if anybody would like actually to get in touch with me, get more details about this, we can discuss about the topic and show you how I do to build my business. I'll be more than happy to send you those informations, either per email or connect with me on Twitter, or you can contact with me, send me an email so I can provide you with more details. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm a PDF. Is it okay if we talk in German?
Okay.
Do you think there's like a lot of English-speaking people around here? But I mean, we are for women in Berlin, like for Hackspace in Berlin.
Yeah, so if you, it's up to you. I mean, you decide.
Yeah.
German, English.
I'm just going to announce that I'm going to be speaking in German.
Yeah. Okay. So you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kannst du dann weiter? Ja. Ja. Okay, hi, good morning. I'm going to be talking in German because this is about a hack space in Berlin. I'm really sorry, but I just prepared this in German, but I hope that all the German people will follow along.
Who does not understand any German? It's completely...
I'm really sorry, but I can explain it to you afterwards. Okay. Hallo, guten Morgen, mein Name ist Paula. Ich studiere internationale Medieninformatik an der Hochschule für Technik und Wirtschaft hier in Berlin. Und das ist Marie, sie studiert Soziologie an der FU. Und wir sind hier, um die Heart of Code vorzustellen, ein Hackspace für Frauen, Sternchen. Und zwar möchten wir euch heute erzählen, was die Heart of Code macht, warum es die Heart of Code gibt überhaupt und was wir in Zukunft so vorhaben.
Genau, im letzten Herbst haben sich ein paar Frauen zusammengefunden und die Idee ist entstanden, dass es irgendwie in Berlin ganz schöne alle möglichen Initiativen gibt, aber irgendwie fehlt ein Hackspace, der explizit Frauen anspricht. Und seitdem haben wir mit allen möglichen Leuten gesprochen, alle möglichen Leute gefragt, getroffen und haben uns überlegt, wie wir das gerne machen möchten. Und wir wollen euch heute so ein bisschen vorstellen, wie so der Stand der Dinge ist seit dem Herbst. Und Paula sagt euch,
an wen wir uns richten.
Genau, an wen wir uns richten.
Also zum einen richten wir uns an Frauen, die schon in der Tech-Szene aktiv sind, ob jetzt als Programmiererin oder Löterin oder ob sie in der Netzpolitik aktiv sind. Zum anderen richten wir uns auch einfach an Frauen, die an Tech interessiert sind, die jetzt entweder Quereinsteiger sind oder totale Anfänger sind. Es geht also darum, sich einerseits zu vernetzen, andererseits einfach Neues zu lernen oder gemeinsam Projekte zu starten. Oft werden wir danach gefragt, warum wir das überhaupt machen, ob es eine Notwendigkeit gibt. Unsere Antwort lautet, ja, klar, es gibt eine Notwendigkeit. Und zwar erstens sieht man das allein daran, dass wenn man mal solche Angebote schafft, und es gibt ja auch die Rails Girls und die Pi Ladies in Berlin, kommen einfach extrem viele Frauen, die Interesse daran haben, die sich vielleicht von den normalen Angeboten nur teilweise angesprochen werden. Also es gibt auf jeden Fall ein gewisses Interesse daran. Das haben wir auch selbst mit den ganzen Sachen, die wir in den letzten Monaten schon gemacht haben, am eigenen Leibe erfahren. Zweitens, und das liegt mir persönlich auch am Herzen, in diesem Space, also in der Heart of Code, geht es halt eben nicht mehr darum, dass ich eine Woman in Tech bin. Es geht halt einfach um die Sache. Es geht halt einfach um meine Interessen, um andere Ideen von anderen Frauen und es geht halt darum, sich zu vernetzen. Und es ist halt endlich nicht mehr so eine Frage wie, ja, warum bist du als Frau eigentlich hier? Ja, Marie macht weiter.
Genau, und ich möchte euch jetzt noch so ein bisschen sagen, was im Moment schon alles passiert ist. Die Initiative hat sich so ein bisschen rumgesprochen, es haben sich ganz viele gefunden, die Lust hatten auf Workshops. Das heißt, es haben irgendwie seit Anfang des Jahres jede Menge Workshops stattgefunden, die dann immer in Räumen stattgefunden haben von befreundeten sozusagen Spaces. Wir waren bei der Wikimedia, wir waren beim Posteo Lab, wir waren bei Soundcloud, wir waren im Büro von der Open Knowledge Foundation. Die haben uns alle ein bisschen ausgeholfen, weil wir eben bis dato noch keinen eigenen Hackspace haben. Workshops haben stattgefunden zu Python, Einsteiger, Fortgeschrittene. Es haben eine Krypto-Party hat stattgefunden, Datenvisualisierung, also alles Mögliche. Das kam immer sozusagen von den Frauen eben selbst, die gesagt haben, ich kann einen Workshop anbieten oder es gab Interesse. Dann haben wir eben zum Beispiel die Pi Ladies eingeladen, die dann diesen Workshop gehalten haben. Genau, das ist so ein bisschen das, was bis jetzt schon passiert ist. Das heißt, die ersten Schritte sind schon getan. Im Moment haben wir die große... noch was vergessen?
Nee, ich glaube, das war's.
Ja,
vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank.
Hast du deine Präsentation schon drauf?
Also, das ist
Genau, und dann bin ich, das heißt, ich habe
Okay.
nur eins, genau. Präsentationsmodus. Und dann vor uns, oder?
ja, genau, oder einfach Leertaste.
Okay, you can introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, I will. All right, who's ready to get sassy? Just a short introduction. My name is Conny Kabul, and I'm a UI and UX designer here in Berlin, and I kind of got into web development a while ago, and I'm a fan of CSS and preprocessors, and I wanted to introduce you to Sass. All right, what is sassy? A lot of people would say like, okay, I've heard it maybe before. Someone is sassy and there's sass, etc. And I looked it up, and it says sassy is according to the Urban Dictionary at least, possessing the attitude of someone endowed with an ungodly amount of cool. So I thought, this sounds awesome. I want to be like that, and also I want to put that into things that I do in web development. But really, what is Sass? Sass is a CSS preprocessor, which is what exactly? And I'm going to show you. So first of all, CSS, if you've never heard of it, is something called cascading style sheets, and it makes your websites look better. And if you have an HTML web page and you want to add some colors, add some fonts, do some stuff, then you use CSS. All others, I think, that have worked with it already know what CSS is, but there's also something else that you can do, which is a preprocessor, which takes CSS as it is and makes something with it, or makes it easier to work with it. So this is what a preprocessor is. You write some Sass in this case, or some other language, and then you run it, in this case, on your terminal or other command line. And in the end, you receive a valid CSS file. So you end up with CSS anyways. And why a CSS preprocessor? Because Sass, although it's a great one, is not the only one. So we have Sass, we have Less, we have Stylus, we have Myth, etc. There are a bunch of preprocessors out there. I just wanted to pick one, which is my favorite, but also not forget about the others out there that are just equally as good. Then again, people say, oh, well, I've been working with CSS for a long time. This is great. Why do I have to change? Why do I have to learn something new? Well, what is so special about it, in short? Sass has a lot of things that CSS doesn't have, which, in short, because we're short on time, are mix-ins, partials, variables, nesting styles, inheritance using operators. Some of that sounds like, what is that? I'm going to focus just on variables shortly. Just a short information. Partials, for example, is a way of like writing several CSS files and putting them all together in the end in one file. Nesting is something that you may know from other programming languages, such as JavaScript, where you can nest something in something else. It's kind of like a matryoshka doll, something where you have like a stacking doll, and that helps you organize your styles and do some other fun stuff, which I'm not going to get into in the moment. Inheritance, at the same time, something that is already there in CSS, but Sass kind of takes it and makes it a little bit bigger and allows some other stuff with it. And operators may be known to people who are programming on a daily basis, but someone else might say, like, okay, what is an operator in this sense? It just basically means like plus, minus, addition, subtraction, etc., all these things. So, okay, moving up. So the thing is, okay, if you want to use it, okay, how can I install it? Is it very, very complicated, or is it easy? There are two major ways to do it. The one thing is via command line. If you're working in a command line or in your terminal every day anyways, you might as well use Ruby gems, which are required to install Sass. And it's just 3 little steps, and you have Sass installed. Or if you're not as comfortable with the command line, you can also download an app which is called Koala. There are other ones out there, but Koala is the one that is open source, one of the open source alternatives here, and which is one that I've used as well and liked. since we're on a tight schedule, I wanted to take just one feature out there, which is variables, which is something that I really enjoy with working with Sass and that CSS certainly doesn't have, which is being able to wrap something in a variable and use it over and over again. So if you write CSS, for example, and you have your colors as hexadecimal values or as an RGB value in there, it's nice, you can read it, etc. But if you have huge style sheet files and you're using a lot of style sheets and a lot of lines, then it's easier to have something like this, where you see you can once declare a primary color, for example, red, and the secondary color you also declare once blue, and then you can use it over and over again throughout your document, and you don't have to type in that all of the time. And if the color changes, you don't have you can just change it once, and you don't have to change it all over. That's it. Thank you very much. I hope you're interested in Sass now, and if you have any questions, please come to me afterwards.
Ich habe nichts.
Hast nichts?
Nee. Machen wir zusammen?
Stefan Köhler.
Oh, I'm sorry, I think it's Stefan Kovacs because it's like. Okay, cool.
So, yeah, we'll be behind.
Ich habe nur den Stefan da gedacht.
Ah, okay. Okay, hi people, hope you're good. Nice to be here. I'm Stefan, and I want to play a game with you. I've been thinking a lot about the importance of networks and what happens inside networks. And since I'm not very good at talking like theoretical stuff, I just want you to help me do an impromptu network here on stage. The rules are very easy. You come up here and tell us what is your passion that brings you here to OpenTechSummit 2016. And then you take your place on stage. And then the next person comes up and, for example, they want to connect. Oh yeah, I have the same passion, but with a different flavor. So gets in the direction of the first. Or something completely different. For example, don't like the sun outside, want to be inside. Then take your position on the stage on a different place. Okay? That's clear? You're with me? You're going to help me? Yeah. Excellent. So let's get started. We are doing this for 3 minutes because we don't have much time. And afterwards, we are doing a short wrap-up about the impromptu network we just formed to see what happened live on stage. So, who wants to be the first person? Come on. Come on, Stefan.
Yeah, but I'm coming up right after you.
Yeah.
So I figured I'm not going to come up now.
Yeah, get used to the stage. Come on. Okay, just set the timer to 3 minutes and go.
Yeah, so I came here because this is actually the best meeting in Berlin where it's really about open culture and open technologies.
Thank you. Next. Come on.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, please introduce yourself with your name so everybody knows who you are.
My name is Toon, by the way. I came from Belgium at 3:30 in the morning to join this meeting, to be part of it. So, similarly, very happy to be here.
Yeah. And I learned a lot about your talk this morning. It's very cool.
Thank
Okay,
you.
they're already connected. Next. Come on. Yes, you. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Come on, anybody, please.
The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking.
Hello, my name is Christina, and I'm originally from Belarus. Now I study in Frankfurt border, and I'd like to make a global makeup information network. Yeah. For girls and not for girls, for everybody. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, next.
So am I standing up?
Nope, he's leaving.
Come on, there must more people being passionate about being here.
Yes.
It's me again. I'm here to connect with people, share what I have learned, and also to learn a lot of you guys as well, and make connection. Thank you.
So, okay, we are on a very tight schedule here, so we leave it like this. If somebody wants to come up very quickly? No? Okay, so come over here, or I come to you. So, how did you feel? Did you feel it easy to connect?
So far, so good.
You were the first, not in the
Yeah, no, I mean, every time I go home from the OpenTechSummit, I've met new people, I've got great ideas. Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
But you're too far away, man! There's lots of free seats up here!
Hey, come to the mic.
Oh,
We're using the mic, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said in my quick little intro, I mean, every time I've come to the OpenTechSummit, which I think this is maybe the third time, I go home with a whole pile of new knowledge, new contacts, new networks, and for that, it's just an absolutely fantastic event. It has a different quality, for example, than Republica, where I just spent the last 3 days with heads spinning. I mean, here you can actually concentrate on getting real relationships moving. That's pretty cool.
So cool. So for you, networking is the essence of this event.
Yeah, I'm sharing ideas.
Get new ideas, okay. All right. Okay, we leave it with that. Thank you, participants, and thank you for watching, and have fun.
Here? No? So you have it on your... No.
I'm just showing...
Actually, hi, I'm taking over from Matthias. My name's Monisha, and I want to thank him for stage managing. So up next is Conrad doing.
Conrad? So I'm totally out of the loop.
You're there,
So
right?
I'm here, yeah.
So it's
Okay, so
Conrad
where's
up next.
Conrad?
Is Conrad here?
Conrad?
Conrad from Neurofox and Brain, do you know? I think I do. Which one's yours?
Maybe it's in a different directory than one up. I think it's I put it in the wrong folder.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So yeah, I think both launch.
Oh, okay. Maybe you put yours in a different folder too. Here you
Yep,
are,
that's
right?
one.
This one?
Yep.
And we want to just go. Is it up here? Where is it gone? How do I get it on there? Why isn't this working? Okay, and full screen. How do I do that? Come on. No. How do I do this? How do I do this? I'm not a tech person. Oh.
Probably it's
Can you do this?
Yeah. Maybe. Check view and presentation. Okay, looks good. And then I can switch like this. Oh yeah. Test. Ah. All right. Okay. Starting now. Yeah, hi. So my name is Konrad Billy Döring, our Fractal Fox, and I work for the company Neurofox. I'm the CEO, and we do a brain-computer interface. And yes, so today I want to take you on an adventure. So ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. We finally reached the time where we can control a computer by thought.
And this implies that there will be a new generation of computer games that will enhance the experience of gaming, that will make it more, that improve or make it even more intense, like in terms of immersion, and just by the power of a mind. And best of all, we will have sustainable and reliable methods to increase our mental well-being from home or any place we like. And we can finally achieve this with a little box, the Brainduino. It's an open source brain-computer interface, and so 2014 we started this with an Arduino Uno shield you can put on top. And so then the next generation we added more bits to it. It's a 24-bit interface, and it also works with the Arduino Pro Mini. And finally, this is the current thing we're working on, is to wrap everything around the head, to have all the electronics there. Then you have active electrodes, which mean a very clean signal, it's reliable, it's completely hackable, and yes, best of all, it's also affordable. And yeah, so where does it actually start? So this is all based on Masahiro Kahata's work. He's been doing this for over 30 years now, working on the IBVA, that's where he started. And now he has decided to open up this technology. And yes, so this is where we team up actually. So I'm just going to jump through this actually because we don't have much time. Could be a whole weekend of workshops about this, but so basically what we do, it's an EEG, so electroencephalography. We measure potentials from the surface of the head. Then we amplify the signal and we send it to a device. So, and depending on where you put the electrodes, you can have different interpretation also of cognitive functions. And so basically what we do with machine learning then is to unmix the signal also spatially and also in terms of frequency, like how fast does the brain communicate at a certain point. And yes, so we can do simple stuff like arousal state, and like this can also be used for training to calm down the mind easier. It's like meditation with guidance, kind of. This is one of the many approaches, many applications, but we can also do something like just imagining the imagination imaging of the left hand or the right hand. We can detect this, or is there some kind of stimulus that has a special meaning to you? This also works like a spelling computer, for instance. So there are many applications also for virtual reality and augmented reality. And yeah, so we have a full loop actually here of both hardware side. Hardware is the electrodes, the amplifier, and everything. And then on the software side, as I said, the machine learning, the feature extraction. A very interesting topic also. So yeah, what's the status quo of the project? Just in a nutshell also. Okay, so we have the Brainduino. So right now as I showed you the picture, it's going to be just a headband right now. And it has a Bluetooth connection, but also we already tried out with Wi-Fi. Then there's a software, the NeuroFlex. This is open source software. You can find it on GitHub. But there's also OpenVibe. This is also one software that has been around for a couple of years now. Of course, and then we have within this processing pipeline, we have digital signal processing, machine learning frameworks, and yes, we're also currently looking to connect it with TensorFlow, for instance, to have some more advanced interpretation. Then you can forward it to different machines over OSC protocol or UDP, for instance, or you can just make a visualization with OpenGL. So, okay, all right, so this is the software. It's just the NeuroFlex right now. As I said, we use it at different events already, and so yeah, it can also be like an interactive art installation. This is very fun. Also, it's a topic of research right now to make this with more than one person, to have a collective neurofeedback. It's a very interesting experience also. Okay, so, and yes, we're looking for a call for precipitation because we think right now really made a very interesting project that will enable a lot of people to do amazing things, actually. And so, yeah, we can connect via Slack. That's what we're doing right now. There's work on hardware and software side, and also, yeah, 3D printing, any kind of things, actually. There's so much to do. Yeah, and so also we want to do a Kickstarter. And so that Masahiro, he takes around 4 hours to solder everything. But yeah, so he's been soldering for 40 years. You can maybe now imagine it's not so easy to do. That's why we go for manufacturing. also to make it a little more cheaper. And yeah, so this is status quo. We will soon make like a dev kit and produce 100 devices and work with, right now we work with universities in Berlin together, also looking forward to do this. But of course also for the hacker and maker scene, this is like one of the things we really like to promote. Yeah, and so if you'd like to get informed, then please also check out the newsletter. And yeah, thank you, that's it already. Okay. Oh, sorry, 6 minutes. Okay, it's only 5 minutes. Okay, who's next? Sorry. I don't know if the slides or something.
I just need a website.
Ah, okay. Oh, this doesn't work. Maybe Firefox? Okay. Not sure. Should be working, I think. Yeah. Ah, you need it on both, right? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if I can navigate this.
It's a terrible track.
Yeah. Tick, 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 tick. Time is running here. Peace, hack, camp. Where the hell is the dot on this damn thing? Do you have a dot here somewhere? It's like I can't even see the light. Peacehackcamp.net. This looks like that's a dot there.
No, it's a comma.
Is that a dot?
Comma.
Yeah, but it's a comma.
Punkt.
Is that a punkt?
No punkt.
That's a All right. We love our technology. So, if that comes up, okay. Yeah, so as you heard already, my name is Stephen Kovacs. I'm here from the Agency for Open Culture and Critical Transformation. It's a small non-profit company here in Berlin. I should be sharing the stage with my colleague Bismo Emmanuel from Juba, South Sudan. He's visiting right now for the OpenTechSummit, but also for Republica and a number of other events here in Berlin. I don't know if this site may or may not come up, but in my quick little intro here, I just wanted to mention or to say that we're an organization that exists in order to look at the whole spectrum of open culture, so from open source software right up onto how to access and use open knowledge resources and apply these in order to support post-conflict development. So what I mean by that is how can we use the power of open source to solve or to at least somehow attack really heavy-duty challenges in places where it's difficult to do just about everything. I don't know, it's not coming up. We are somewhat critical of the, I guess, the international development scene. We're very much interested in trying to do development differently. We work with grassroots communities and individuals and students and some organizations to do training, but also to show them basically how to access information, how to access knowledge, resources, in order for them to work on the kinds of things and solutions they want to solve. Now, what I wanted to bring up here is the Peace Hack Camp. This is an event that we helped produce in South Sudan last December. And as the name suggests, it's about peace building, it's about hacktivism, and it's about camping, which is getting together and discuss ideas and solve problems. The Peace Hack Camp was an event that was created by an organization of young media makers in South Sudan called Capital Movie. These are basically university students who come from very simple backgrounds, who had no access to media and technology, who basically learned how to use computers on their own. They learned how to even to code. They learned how to use videos. They started teaching their friends how to do that, and before we knew it, they had set up their own virtual academy with no support, no funding, no nothing. So this Peace Hack Camp was the first event where they actually managed to get a little bit of cash, and with that they were able to invite peers from around the East Africa region who were working in these areas of open innovation in a number of different contexts to look at actually what is the essence of open source and open technologies, and how can we actually use it in a place where we have actually very little means to do and to build. I had a quick little discussion with one of my colleagues here downstairs where we were saying that actually a lot of the stuff that we do in South Sudan and places like that is about how to be able to use resources that are online but in completely offline scenarios. So if you're here at 3:30, we're doing a little workshop downstairs in the Hof Lounge around this type of work. And my colleague, if he shows up from Juba, he'll be presenting this thing which is called the Open Learning Guide. So this is a completely offline thing about online resources that these folks in South Sudan produced. It's a very simple guide of resources that they like and want to use for various kinds of media production, basically, you know, as a poster. Because by the time you're kind of searching around for something that you don't know exactly what it is that you're looking for, you may be offline. It's sometimes very difficult to get online. And if you got one of these hanging on the wall, you can kind of look up, there's a tool there for video editing. There's a tool there like this thing called Wikipedia. Never heard of that. Wow, interesting. So you can learn about all kinds of stuff without actually having to be online, and then you can take one of those, type it in, and then try to find the thing. So we work a lot with how to bring that kind of stuff, which we take for granted with easy access, into offline environments and kind of like boost that ability. So please do come and join us at 3:30 downstairs for that. I'd love to tell you more about what we do, and I'd like to be able to create partnerships with people here about working in these kinds of contexts. So I'm happy to give you my card, my ID, and not my ID, but information about us. And just as a parting note, some of the more practical things we do with these friends of ours is things like simple homemade, like DIY. This is a solar charger for mobile phones. There's nothing earth-shatteringly new about this, but what we try to do with these things is it's a skill-building scenario for all kinds of things. The guy who was up before me was talking about not needing to solder, but soldering is actually a really, really important skill. So in order to build these kinds of things, you do have to solder. You have to figure out how to make a case for it. You've got lots of materials lying around that people are throwing away. You can build very sturdy, very cool cases. So it's about learning how to do all different kinds of things that then also end up in a useful product. So thank you very much for the time, and I hope to see you guys at 3:30 downstairs in the Hofgarten, Hofbrauerei, for some more detailed insight in this kind of work. So cheers, and thank you.
Where are the folders?
Let's find them again. Come on. What a horrible mouse. Come on, it's horrible track.
You can close this.
Yeah, and here are the folders.
Yeah. So it should be there. And then it's not there. Maybe if you go back.
Yeah.
Or just
plug it in. Maybe it's in another folder.
No. You need to plug it in. I just hope this works from this.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you put it off the desk or not?
No. This one. No, okay, then you can open the folder again and we try the keynote. Oh, okay, it's loading. Good. Sorry, it's a very big file.
It's going to be an awesome presentation. Yeah.
But look, it's the format is not good. No. Then we take this one. Let's see if it can. No. Okay, this isn't working. Then we need to use this one. Why is it like that? Let me go.
Oops. Don't
No.
shut down. Don't shut down.
Maybe I just start already and you can have a look? No, because
Maybe just,
okay.
maybe
I just start and then we try to figure it out in the meantime. So I'm presenting the other Nefertiti, or also known as the Nefertiti hack or Nofretete hack. And it's an artistic intervention which talks about decolonizing our minds, democratization of culture, and about activating artifacts through techno-heritage, actually. Jan Nikolai Nellis, the other artist, can't be here today. Is it working? Not at all? Really? Oh yeah, it is? Okay, somehow. Good. So we strive to make this cultural object, the Nefertiti, publicly accessible and to promote a contemporary and critical approach on how the so-called global north deals with heritage and the representation of the other. And we think we should tell stories of entanglement and to deconstruct the Nefertiti is a great case to start with, to tell stories from very different angles and to see how they intertwine. But why we chose this artifact? We chose her, of course, because she's not only an artifact, but also an icon with its own symbolic power and social power. But from our perspective, the head of Nefertiti represents all the others, million of stolen and looted artifacts of material objects of other cultures, which are in the moment in the global north. And let me try to tell you the story about this, what happened actually in the museum and afterwards, and how we got this data, because what we did was to release the data under public domain later on. But how, first of all, we got the data, I would like to show this to you, just leave it in the background because I have to be quick. We went in the Neues Museum here on the Museum Island and scanned the bust clandestinely without permission of the museum, and we used a portable scanner. Maybe one of you have heard about the story, and collected the data by circling around the Nefertiti. This is what you can see here. But then, very important, the data got processed. After that, we printed it actually, and we went to Cairo to show the copy of the bust of Nefertiti for the first time in Cairo for the Off Biennale last year in December. And unfortunately, I need to skip a lot. Okay. And but after this exhibition, what we did then, because it's about talks about possession, it was very important for us to go and to have an open end also in Egypt. And what we did was then we buried the 3D print in the desert, and we delivered it back to the space where it actually comes from, and the coordinates will never be revealed, but it might be found in like 1 year or 1,000 years, we don't know. And so what we wanted to do with that is that to see that the bust is passed on to a bigger temporality as a kind of poetic counteract to the excavations we are doing currently all over the place. And yeah, this is what if one could talk about a techno heritage. But let me see if this. Okay, this was when we put the bust, brought it to Egypt, how it looked in the airport. Let's see. I have to skip this. This was how it got presented in Egypt. Oh, what happened? I don't know. But also, let's see, I brought you a link. Yeah, It's here, but okay, it's not all over the monitor, unfortunately. Where you could also download the data now with a density of 2 million polygons. And now it's free, and it actually got downloaded hundred thousands of times already. And it happened with the data which the museum had for 8 years already, because they also scanned the bust. It happened what a researcher, Jason Mazzone, coined as copy fraud. And we felt that we came to the point where there's no reason why we tried to collaborate with this museum, which didn't make it publicly accessible, and that's why we felt actually we need to steal something. And the media named that civil disobedience, gesture of clear defiance to institutional order, or even the most ethical art haste. So yes, it was a kind of art haste. And now it's even here on Wikipedia. So for us it was very interesting. So now the Nefertiti bust has a new layer of history added. And the journalists gave us labels like Robin Hoods of antiquities, pirates, doppelgangster, but also we were named like fraud, criminals and thieves. So it was very, differentiated reactions. But more important was what happened after we made it accessible last year in December on the CCC Congress, because we didn't know what will happen and how the public is actually interested in accessing or remixing and printing, studying this data set. But now we know what happens, because it got downloaded like hundred thousands of times, and it went all over the media, and it went kind of viral. And this is important for us because we know that this kind of ancient artifacts, no matter how ancient they are still relevant, and people want to access and proclaim this data. And I hope this is working. Yeah, okay. So this is just a few things we found. And yeah, very important was also that we now have a new discussion on the originality and truth of data, as well as on the truth of material objects of other cultures. And this is very necessary because in the end one concludes that the institutional practice of today's museums and collections around the Western world are kind of corrupted, because museums are telling one story. They are telling also fictional stories, sometimes even without realizing it, because they so far control the artifacts and the way of representation which comes with that. And one can't find a critical reflection about this violent entanglement inside of the museums and the like inherent colonial patina, but isn't representing the other, always violent, like Edward Said asked, for example. And besides talking about this, the otherness, it was also important for us to reflect more on the question of originality, because while museums have a long history of producing and valuing copies, in the 19th century huge collections with copies were shown all over the world, because actually the physical objects are only accessible in one place, so they had a solution for that in the past, very nice. But now these collections are kind of discarded, and just since a few decades we are privileging this authenticity. And what happened with this Nefertiti hack later in the net was after a while there appeared a huge debate whether the scanning part was real and what it meant for the authenticity of the data actually. So tons of theories about how we got the data were discussed in media articles and in forums, blogs. For example, if we just scanned a replica made by the museum, or if we hacked into the server, and whether any of this would be an issue because the scan seemed too good to be true, the data. And my response would be, or was to that a scan of the same thing looks the same, doesn't it? And in the end, what I like to think is that this free data set is as real or even more real than the original bust in the museum, because it is no longer a slave of the original, but a very independent piece, and I'm going to show you something about this in the end. So we obviously went to the museum and scanned the bust, but of course nobody knows if even this is the original bust. Through time and restoration, there might not much genuine be left on the artifact itself. So we give meaning to the objects as well as we give meaning to the data. And I would like to ask why worshipping the original while we have all that beautiful remixes and contemporary hybrids as of today. And in fact, there are cultures who value the copy as much or even more. So yes, maybe it was a server hack, a copy scan, an inside job, or the cleaner, or a hoax. But who cares? So, let me see. Sorry, I need to be more quicker. Okay. If you're interested, actually there is something new, something a bit megalomaniac coming up here in Berlin, also with the Naturkunde Museum. And we are especially looking for people who are into 3D animations, who want to collaborate. Last time we collaborated more with archaeologists and hackers and lawyers. Now we need all of them, but also it would be great if someone is into 3D data and who loves to spread the word about the upcoming thing. It would be very nice. I'll be downstairs just after that. And maybe to summarize, what is very important in a globalized world like this kind of digital recreation embodies possibilities of new imaginations which challenge the dominant narrative of national institutions and yet at the same time can't entirely solve the question of hyper-ownership and originality. But luckily, there are ways how the public can proclaim spaces, cultural spaces, museums as their space through alternative virtual realities, fiction, and captivating the objects or creating different narratives. And I want to close by saying that we can only applaud to hackers and whistleblowers and citizens who might go on and free any data in the future. With this short video with found footage on Nefertiti hack, and actually it has sound. I don't know if you could put on the sound or not, if this works, but it's visual too. No sound? No. Yeah, sound? If you have? No, it's not working on, obviously, I don't know. Thank you.